more shy and a little bit better at camouflage out here, so we're gonna have to look a little bit harder. But already I'm seeing some bongo and some greater kudu. They're gonna be on our left side. So the bongo are gonna be these darker brown ones with horns, and then the greater kudu is the one without horns and this lighter tan color. Now they have stripes very similar to the okapi on our right side out there as well. Now a lot of animals will have these stripes to blend in. Now the stripes on the okapi kind of look like a zebra, but they are surprisingly not related at all. Instead, they are more closely related to the giraffe. They have the same long prehensile tongues that giraffes have to grasp at leaves, and they also share a common ancestor. Now for a while, we actually thought that the okapi was a fictional creature. They were only officially discovered in about the 90s. Coming down here at the top of the hill on our right, you might catch a glimpse of a saddle-billed stork. I actually see two of them, but they are pretty hidden behind those bushes. The saddle-billed stork has a wingspan of about 9 feet wide. That's about the same width as the canopy of this truck. Out there on the left, just across the water, I see a black rhino taking a nice little nap. The black rhino weighs about 3,000 pounds, and at the end of its nose there is a beautiful horn. That horn is made out of the same material as our own fingernails. Now, a lot of these animals are very good at camouflage, especially in the forest. Most of them have stripes like we saw back there on the bongo, the okapi, and the greater kudu. Stripes mimic the same way light and shadow shine through trees. So if predators or other threats look at them, they just think it's a bunch of trees instead of their prey. Alright, our next stop is going to be in the Salty River. The river holds a very important resource for animals. It's a resource that all animals need to survive, and that would be water. So let's see what we can find in this water today. Ooh, looks like out of the water we're going to see two hippos. They've hopped out to take a nice little sun bath out there. They're going to be on our right side towards the bottom of this hill. Now, a herd of hippos is called a bloat. So we're seeing part of the bloat on that right side. Although a hippo's natural habitat is in the water, of course they like to step out and take a little nap out here. But I do see some more of the bloat on the left side as well in the water, a couple on each side of us. Hippos can hold their breath for about 8 minutes at a time. That gives them plenty of time to stay under that water. The word hippopotamus actually translates in Latin to water horse. Those guys are really good swimmers, but they actually tend to sink down to the bottom of the river and they'll kind of gallop like a horse does. On this island right in front of us is the pink-backed pelican. All the way in the middle, they made a nice little nest out there. I see a couple more down here as well. The pink-backed pelican is one of 8 species of pelican in the world. Now they get that name from the pink spot on their back that only appears during mating season. Like all pelicans, they have a little pouch under their bill. That pouch is called a guller. It's perfect for scooping fish right out of the water, and it's a great way to cool down on hot days. Out there on the left, we're going to see some Nile crocodiles. Do me a favor and keep an eye on those guys for me as we cross this bridge.
Grandão, né? Gigante.
So the Nile crocodile gets about 16 to 20 feet long. That's about how tall a giraffe can get. And when their eggs are almost ready to hatch, those crocodiles are very supportive parents. They tend to roll those eggs around in their mouth, gently using their teeth to encourage them to hatch. Alright, our next stop is going to be in the savannah, where we're going to see lots of different animals. I already see some from here. But before we see them, we are going to be seeing a tree. Alright, it's my favorite tree. It is called the Baobab Tree. There actually is a very interesting African folktale to help explain why it looks like that. So, as the creator was making this land, he laid down everything perfectly where he wanted it. Then he looked inside his bag of creations and saw that he forgot to put down a tree. So he tried to find a place to put it. but everything was just too perfect. So he threw the tree over his shoulder. It happened to land upside down with its roots in the air, and now all Baobab trees look like that. Now as we're coming down, I see a lot of animals, mostly giraffes so far, but I saw some zebra out there as well. So on this right side, that is the Maasai giraffe. I can tell that because they have a very squiggly pattern. There are other species of giraffe out there who tend to have a more square, rectangular pattern in comparison. If they have that square pattern, then I'd be calling them the reticulated giraffe. You can see how some of these giraffes are munching on some leaves out there right now. We're gonna get some really up close views of some of them. I even see one of the baby giraffes out there. And we can definitely tell that a lot of giraffe have been through this way. If you look at all of these trees, all of the leaves have been eaten. Right where the leaves start to grow again is about how far a giraffe can reach. They are pretty tall, standing at about 18 to 20 feet at adulthood, but they can reach up just a little bit farther to bring down those branches and eat all of those leaves. Out there on the left, I am seeing some African painted dogs. It is a little hard to see at first, but if you look at this cave and you look towards the middle of it on top, you might see some ears twitching and some tails moving around. Let's try to get a closer view around this side. Now they get that name painted dog from the way their coat looks like somebody painted on them. Oh, there's a couple more to the left of, sorry, the right of the cave down there, all sleeping together in a pile. Each coat is very unique to every painted dog, and it helps them recognize each other within their own pack. On our left side, you might see some Sable Antelope with those horns that point backwards. We're catching up to some more Maasai giraffe, and in fact, there is the baby giraffe out here in the middle. There is another about 1 or 2 year old out there, but this one is the smallest that we can see so far. We're also seeing some wildebeest and some zebra out here. Now, if you ever wanted to know that age-old question, if a zebra is black with white stripes or white with black stripes, all you gotta do is look at the color of their nose. So on these ones, we can see that they have a black nose. That means that they are black with white stripes. We're passing by some termite mounds out here. These termite mounds are made out of dung, clay, spit, and dirt. They're about as strong as cement, and sometimes elephants will use them as back scratchers. There's even certain types of antelope that like to stand on them in order to watch out for predators that might be around. Some more up-close views of some of these giraffe, especially on this right side out here. We're going to see this one that was eating some leaves. Just like the Okapi giraffe have a long prehensile tongue to help them grasp at all of those leaves, but a giraffe's tongue is about the same size as a human's forearm. So if you look at your arm, it could be the same size as this guy's tongue. Now, a herd of giraffe, when they're all standing still, like we're seeing right now, we call that a tower. But if they were all migrating together across the savannah on a very big journey, then we call that a journey. One more giraffe on this left side, again eating a lot of leaves. You might notice that they are almost constantly chewing. That is because they will chew their food, swallow it and digest it a little bit, and then regurgitate it to chew it again, and back and forth until the food is completely digested. So it's kind of like saving a snack for later. Out there on the right, we're seeing some more of those wildebeest. Those are the brindled wildebeest, since they have almost a stripe pattern on the sides of them. They are a little hard to see at the top of the hill out there, but we did see some earlier. Now, they are one of the largest herding animals. That means that they'll group together and migrate in herds of about 1.5 million at a time. They are technically the second largest herding animal if you consider humans to be the first. Now up ahead I see some broken down trees. That is a great sign that we may see some elephants. And I don't think we have to look too hard, because I think I already saw one from here. Yeah, we're gonna get a really up close view of that one. We're also gonna see some mandrels out there on the left, so lots of animals all around us. Now I'm hoping that we'll see more elephants out there. I heard that the migration pattern tends to follow this way. but it is around that season where they're migrating around.
Oh my god.
So I am going to talk about these mandrels first. There is actually a couple of the babies out there. I see one about to climb the trees. They are the largest monkey. They have that really bright colored face, just like Rafiki. When they become agitated or excited, they'll become even brighter in the face, just like how humans blush. And like I mentioned earlier, we're going to be following that migration pattern for those elephants. Elephants have to migrate in order to eat all the food that they need. They spend about 12 to 18 hours a day just eating. That is a lot of food. Now, we actually had a problem back in the village. We had seen that elephants were eating the farmers' crops. So we had to think of a way to keep those elephants safely away. We soon found out that elephants do not like bees. They tend to sting their delicate skin, so they'll remember where beehives are and they try to stay away. That way they don't get stung. So with that knowledge, we made a little invention called a beehive fence. That is a fence with a beehive on top. Farmers placed it next to their crops, and it basically acted like a scarecrow for elephants, keeping them all away. So now those farmers had beautiful crops, the elephants found safer places to eat, away from humans, bees, and poachers, and as an added bonus, the farmers now had honey to sell. So it was quite the win-win-win situation. Now we might be on the right track, depending on which way they went. I see some tracks in the dirt on the left and some test marks in that red clay on the right. And the reason elephants dig up that red clay like we just saw is to eat it. It gives them all the vitamins and minerals that they didn't receive through their normal diet. It's very similar to how us as humans, we will take vitamins or supplements. And I think it leads us straight to some more elephants out there. They are roaming around, so I'm not sure what kind of view we're going to get, but hopefully they'll come back around and we'll get some really up-close views. There's about 3 of them right now around that Baobab tree. Now the Bayabov Tree is also known as the Tree of Life, kind of like the one that you saw walking into the park today. It gets that nickname from all of the water that is stored inside these trees. Africa goes through a 9-month drought, so this tree has to store as much water as possible before the drought in order to survive. You'll actually see a lot of damage on the outside of these trees. That is from animals that either burrow in, or like these elephants, they will break through the tree to get the water that's trapped in there and drink it. That's why it's called the Tree of Life, because of all the life it supports. And if you look closely on some of these elephants out here, you might notice that they have a lot of dirt on their backs and on their foreheads. They actually do that on purpose. They will use their long trunk to throw dirt up there to kind of use it as a natural sunscreen. On the left in the water, we're going to see the greater flamingo. These guys are the largest as well as the latest pink of their species. But I am seeing some that still have their gray feathers and their gray legs. That just means that they're a little bit younger than the rest. Baby flamingos are born completely gray, and as they grow older and eat more brine shrimp, that helps them develop that pink color that we see on most of the adults out here. Looks like we're going to be seeing some white rhino around here. I see at least 3 of them out there on the left side. The white rhino weighs about 5,000 pounds. But coming out from behind mom is one of the babies. Now that little guy, he was born in September, and we are super excited to see him out here. We've been waiting a long time for some of these baby white rhinos. There's about 3 of them out here, but this one is out today. We're super excited to see him. The gestation period for a white rhino is anywhere between 14 to 16 months. So we had to wait a long time for that little guy. At birth, a baby white rhino can get anywhere between 100 to 150 pounds. So he's got a long way to catch up. A herd of rhino is called a crash because they love to crash into everything as they run by. But these guys look pretty tired and pretty busy, so I think we're all right for now. Ooh, at the top of the hill on the left, you might spot a cheetah. It is really hard to see, but I'm seeing it all the way in the back. It's looking right at us. Hopefully we'll see some more around here that are a little easier to spot. Now cheetahs, they are natural sprinters. They go about 0 to 60 miles an hour within 3 seconds. But they only go about 100 yards before they get tired. That is a lot of energy for them to run that fast. Yeah, we can see about 2 more out there laying down. They are conserving that energy right now. It takes about 30 minutes for them to catch their breath after they're done running. So of course they want to lay down like that. And speaking of big cats, we're going to see another one out there on the left. This time it's going to be the lion. I see a male lion sleeping on these rocks next to this grass patch out here. Now the male is of course the one with the really big fluffy mane. It looks pretty light on him, but it's actually about 25 pounds. It's more like a thick protective armor. Oh, we're going to see some of the females as well. The females are the hunters of the group. They will go out and hunt. Meanwhile, the male tends to stay at home with the cubs to protect them. Kind of like a stay-at-home dad. Now that is a very big task for the dad, considering that in a pride there can be anywhere between 20 to 30 lions. Most of them are being made up of the cubs. These lions will sleep about 16 to 20 hours a day, only really waking up to hunt at dawn and dusk. So right now is about their bedtime. They're getting ready to conserve all that energy. There actually is another female right there, right below this one. Now these lions, although they are very big cats, they actually don't have to eat too much. They only eat about 20% of their body weight. The rest of that energy is stored as they sleep all day and saved for when they hunt next. And speaking of animals sleeping, out there on the left, we're going to see 3 warthogs all in a pile together out there on that left side. Warthogs are pretty smart. They just don't have the best eyesight. So they tend to rely on their snout to stick around and figure out all of their surroundings. Down here on the right, not seeing too many ostrich, but I am seeing ostrich eggs on the ground. Those eggs are massive. They weigh about 3 pounds each. I could actually stand on one of those eggs and it would not crack. They are that strong. Just one ostrich egg holds about the same amount as 3 dozen chicken eggs inside it. So it is a very large egg for a very large bird.
O vídeo vai acabar com minha memória. Quase 20 minutos.
Like we're slowly making our way back to civilization. I see the warden's post up ahead, and it looks like the warden has let some of the goats out for us to see. So at the top of the hill on our left, you might see some of the Nigerian dwarf goats. And it also looks like one of them has gotten into the back of the truck out here. You might see it as we come around. These guys are pretty small, but as the name implies, that is about how big they get as adults. And they are super handy. They tend to eat a lot more vegetation than other livestock. Things like twigs and branches and leaves, and they also produce milk. So for how small and compact they are super handy and a great alternative to larger cattle. They can take up more space and more resources that some farmers don't want to use. I hope you all enjoyed seeing all of those wonderful animals. I know I did. If you'd like to see some more animals, then I highly recommend checking out some of the animal walking trails around here. One of my favorites and the closest one to you is going to be Gorilla Falls. Gorilla Falls is a self-walked exploration trail where you get to walk around and see animals like gorillas, meerkats, naked mole rats, even an underwater perspective of how those hippos dive down, and lots of other cool stuff. That's going to be found at the top of the hill on the right side of stroller parking as you exit this ride. Now that stroller parking area up ahead is for standby. If you're looking for lightning lane stroller parking, that's going to be found on the left of standby across the bridge. You'll go down the hill and you'll see yours on the right. right across from our Binky Sled and Watch. Now I recommend bringing those in with you into Gorilla Falls because it is about a 15-20 minute walk to see all of the animals in there, but you can spend as long or as short as you'd like walking around. Now, as we approach the docks, I do want to say Asante Sana. That means thank you in Swahili. Please be sure to gather all of your belongings, check between your rows, check between your feet, and check between your seat. Make sure you have everything you came with. This is going to be our last stop up ahead, so I will be leaving you with one last Swahili phrase, and that is Kwaherini. Kwaherini means to go well. So my friends, go well, go wild, go have a great rest of your day, wherever your adventures may take you. If there were any wilderness explorers on board today, remember you are riding the Simba 1.